Week 11. Ghost. Happy Sunday, buddy. How we feeling today?
I love this slate. Anytime the Cowboys are in the marquee matchup on a slate, I'm absolutely fired up. So it's going to be a good week.
Yeah, what are we going to do at the early games? I am just not super interested in them, but let's I don't know. I just wish it was 3 o'clock right now. Chicago time, Central time, because that's what the world runs on. But let's get after it. It's a lot of injuries again, not nearly as bad as last week. It looks like Eli Mitchell is going to be doubtful, so Jeff Wilson chalk in full force. Jeremy McNichols for the Tennessee Titans is out, so that leaves pretty much just old man Peterson and our boy Donta Foreman, who I was a big fan of. Hold on, we're echoing. We got an echo. We good? I think we're good. All right. Must be a personal issue. If anybody's got audio issues, let us know and we will try to. Nice. All right. Thanks, Joe. Right on. All right. So yeah, Donta Foreman, a guy that I was high on years ago. I think actually Joe was in my my league back then when I drafted him, coming out of Texas. Big fan. I think he tore his Achilles like twice or something, but he is back. Pretty interested in him. What other injuries do we got here? Miles Sanders is back. I know no one's going to play a Philly running back anyway. Kamara's out. Tony Jones is in. So as much Ingram as we saw last week, probably going to go down a little bit, but still a very good cash play there, and we'll get into that. Jamal Williams likely to play, so I doubt we see 33 carries out of DeAndre Swift again, but I think Campbell is still going to be the offensive coordinator. So that will be a very run-heavy script for Detroit and Cleveland. There's some weather in that game, too. We'll touch on it a bit. And the last one, I guess, is Aaron Jones. So A.J. Dillon chalk week. Get him in your cash lineups. But let's start here with Miami and the New York Jets. Duke Johnson activated for Miami. So I have absolutely no interest in Myles Gaskin. I think he's going to be around 10 to 15% owned. I don't expect Duke Johnson to do a whole lot, but I'm just not a Myles Gaskin guy. I like him in games that go back and forth. I don't know what Joe Flacco is going to do. Another injury. Yeah, Joe Flacco is starting for the Jets. He's back, Mr. Elite. This game I have absolutely no interest in. I think you could play both defenses, and that's kind of where I'm at. I know Tua is going to be quite popular. He is not in my player pool. This game could go back and forth, so I get it. If you're on Tua, the values there, you could probably load up a ton of Kansas City, Dallas, or whatever other game you like. But I'm just not messing with it. I'm waiting for the afternoon games or after 1 p.m. games for all you East Coasters out there. But yeah, any thoughts on this one? It's just ugly for me. I would love to play Mike Gesicki. I do think he's in a good spot with the Jets. Usually play a lot of cover too, so that's really good for tight ends, as we spoke on last week. And Gesicki's a stud when Tua's there. I know it didn't happen last week, but the guy still had 7 or 8 targets. You just don't get that for many tight ends. But yeah, no interest for me.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy that you could somewhat consider is Jalen Waddle with the amount of volume that he's getting, but it's T. Higgins over Waddle for me this week with a tough matchup for Jamar Chase. So I'm all in on T. Higgins this week. Surprise to absolutely nobody. So if you could play punters in DFS, I would roster them from this game, but unfortunately we don't have that luxury. So it's going to be a no for me on all fronts of this game. It is really ugly.
Right on. Love that. Yeah, I guess if you guys are interested in players, let us know. But yeah, Waddle, certainly. If he's your guy, rock him. But other than that, I have no interest. Moving on to the next game. I loved the Tannehill, Brandon Cooks, A.J. Brown little mini stack you can get here, but it looks like there's going to be a ton of rain in this game. Yeah. So that leads me to my boy, Donta Foreman at 4,900. Who's going to be 5% owned, maybe a little bit higher, 5 to 8. I don't think he touches 10%, but if everybody's playing Mark Ingram, everybody's playing Jeff Wilson, and likely AJ Dillon, that's going to be the tree-headed monster. The 3-headed monster is what I should say, but 2 tree, couple guys, whatever. I'll talk like Tony from Philly, our boy Tony. But yeah, so Foreman is just an easy way to pivot off of one of those guys. I think if I had to choose, it would probably be Mark Ingram is going to be the guy out for me because Tony Jones is back. I don't think we'll see a lot of Tony Jones, but Mark Ingram. And I know Armstead's out again. So Ingram was not very efficient running the football last week. Teron Armstead, just such a very important player on that offensive line. He's not there. I think they're down another offensive lineman too. So it's even worse than last week. A little bit better run D in Philly, but nothing special there. So That is my pivot to Donta Foreman, and just the $500 in savings off of Ingram does open up a lot, as we'll talk about in a little bit. So I'm definitely going to be very heavy on Donta Foreman. It's disgusting, but his rushing prop's now at 58.5 yards. It was 55 when I wrote my article
Good odds to
yesterday.
score
So
too.
yeah, I think he's plus 120 now. I was plus 130 yesterday. So with his weather, I think, I don't know if you want to say revenge narrative, but they should give Donta Foreman a lot of red zone touches. The only shitty thing there is AP's there too, and he's one of the best, goal line running backs in the NFL history in our era at least. But yeah, very interested in Foreman. I'm off the AJ Brown thing, and I'm definitely not playing Brennan Cooks at 15 to 20% ownership. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sure that ownership will go down as this weather goes down, or weather reports go all over Twitter this morning, but yeah, I don't know.
I really liked AJ Brown today, but that ship unfortunately has sailed. They would have found any way possible to get him the ball in a game like this, including giving him some touches in the backfield. We saw it last week also. So, man, they would have been giving AJ Brown a ridiculous amount of touches. But at this point, with the weather that's there, you're paying up for guys like AJ Brown. That's same price as Deebo Samuel, right under Tyreek Hill, right under Devontae Adams. You are playing with fire, hoping that he outscores him. And don't get me wrong, we've had some crazy calls the last couple of weeks with Justin Jefferson over Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson again over Tyreek Hill in back-to-back weeks. Like, that alone was very well worth it. Just coming out there and saying it right now, I'm not feeling that this week. So I will have no AJ Brown, unfortunately, but I do think that they'll still scheme him to get a ridiculous amount of touches. Just again, the upside is extremely limited with how much it's expected to downpour there today. So I'm out largely on this game. Brandon Cooks is slated to be the highest owned wide receiver on the slate. That's going to be a hard no from me. I just don't get it with the weather conditions that are there. You need Brandon Cooks to go deep. Like, Brandon Cooks is not an intermediate route runner. This guy loves a nice go route, and he's got to be able to burn DBs, which he would be able to against Tennessee. But and again, with the weather that's there, why are we rostering a ridiculously high owned Brandon Cooks? Like, I just don't get that. For me in cash, I honestly don't even think the rostership lands there for Brandon Cooks to be able to make a significant difference, because I don't see how people don't pivot away from this game. It's going to get really ugly. And I do like the Foreman call. I don't think Mark Ingram's going to be I don't even want to say as efficient as he was last week. He wasn't even efficient, period. But yeah, if Mark Ingram doesn't get in the box, you're looking at a solid 6 to 8 DK. And you got to think that a large chunk of those points came on a 30-yard reception last week. Mark Ingram does not catch 30-yard passes ever. In his prime with Deuce McAllister in the backfield with him, or right now in 2021, Mark Ingram does not catch 30-yard passes. So if you want to roster him in cash, I understand that. In GBPs, it's a hard pass for me. And even for cash, that's where, when we talk about getting different in a couple spots, that's where one of them I have no problem. If you're fading him for someone like, I wouldn't play Donta Foreman over him in cash, but if you're fading him, for me, it's the two running backs that I'm locking in are AJ Dillon and Jeff Wilson in cash. If you end up going 4 wide receivers today, you could definitely do a lot worse, because Mark Ingram's upside in this matchup, I get it. The Eagles' run D is far from elite, if I'm being nice, far from elite, but I just don't see it. So I do really like the Foreman call. Outside of that, this game, I'm going to be out.
Yeah, I mean, the Tennessee Titans have a 27-point implied team total, so tons of touchdown equity there. It's just, does it go to AP or does it go to Foreman? Hopefully
does it go
both.
To Michael Pruitt, like, it's going to be a 1-yard thing. Does Ryan Tannehill running in the box? Like, for me, it's just there's so much unknown there, because all of them are priced up similarly the way that, like, it's not necessarily a value stack at that point. Like, AJ Brown is really, really expensive. That's my issue. With the guys that he's priced around, it's really tough.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of interest in that game, but I will have a ton of Donta Foreman, and it's risky. Guys, like, understand AP's still there, but If we can get 60 rushing yards, 2 catches, we just got to get in the box. Let's get 15, 16 points, and we just need to outscore Mark Ingram and GPPs, and that is our path to success with Donta Foreman. The path to failure is he doesn't play a whole lot because he's Donta Foreman, and who knows what to kind of expect. They could, another week of AP knowing the playbook. I don't know. It's definitely risky, but I think it's a very educational risk, if you will. It should move in our favor, and I just don't like Mark Ingram that much today outside of cash games. Moving on to Indy Buffalo. A lot of bad weather there too. This game's 100% fade for me. I think you're going to start to see the theme here in this week on what we're going to be doing in most of our tournaments in GPP or tournaments in cash here. But yeah, this game, zero interest on both sides. Unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor's going to be like 3% owned. So if you want to keep riding the hot hand, I will not talk you off the hottest running back in the NFL right now. But Ghost, any thoughts on this one?
I don't mind playing Jonathan Taylor. I actually don't mind a couple high-priced running backs today in GPPs. So the one guy that I do have in my player pool from this game is JT. That's about it. I don't see how Wentz wants to attack the outside on this Buffalo Bills defense. Outside of that, great call on Stephon Diggs last week. We finally got that eruption game that we needed at a ridiculous price. I'm not going back to him this week, although the matchup is pretty juicy for him. Just again, with the amount that Josh Allen spreads out the ball, I don't really like stacking Buffalo this year as much as I did the last. Outside of that, it's really just JT, and I will be taking a shot, obviously, in non-Jonathan Taylor lineups on the Bills D. I think that Carson Wentz is a quarterback that can be turnover prone when he tries to overdo it. And when you're looking at his reads the last couple of weeks, he's had some very questionable throws, and the Bills D can certainly exploit that. So if you're looking for a 1% owned play on the offensive side of the ball, it's Jonathan Taylor in this game on a random position, I guess I could say, to be able to do that. Buffalo Bills D is certainly enticing today. I think that they'll be able to get a couple turnovers off Wentz.
Yeah, and Buffalo's, I think, third in run defense DVOA, yeah. So just a really, really, really good run defense.
It's a really tough matchup for them.
Yeah.
Tough matchup.
I'd rather, I guess, like in terms of low-owned running backs, there's two that we're going to get to in the afternoon that I think are just in much better spots in very similar ownership in Joe Mixon and Zeke Elliott. So that's where, when I see myself being able to afford Jonathan Taylor, it's like I'd rather just have Joe Mixon.
Exactly.
And yeah, and then Zeke Elliott, yeah, I like him, but with Tyron Smith out, we'll get to that game too. But New Orleans, Philly. Not interested. I'm going to pass to you again. Mark Ingram, fine in cash, but Tony Jones is there. So don't be, surprised if Mark Ingram goes for 12 points, because that's pretty much what I have him projected for personally. And I'm not into it. I'm not playing Jalen Hurts. I did like him last week, though. I think Matt and I were talking about, or Brian and I were talking about him being an excellent 1% on GPP play. But yeah, this game, absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, it's Mark Ingram chalk, man. Oh my gosh. Playing 45-year-old running backs. For me, it's going to be a hard pass. I do think there's a bit of upside here in this Eagles offense. I don't mind going back to Devonta Smith, but again, that was the call of 2 weeks ago, where we had Devonta Smith at 4% roster, and he led the slate in scoring.
That was your call. Don't give me credit. That was your call, and you saved my life.
No,
I smashed
it's a team thing. No, it's a team thing. But that was 2 weeks ago. I'm not feeling it as much as I am now. I will mention, I don't think he outscores him, but just by position scarcity, I will mention Dallas Goedert a little bit. That 4K range in tight end is like it's loaded, but it's not loaded with talent. Like it's loaded with no man's land. So I don't mind taking a shot on Dallas Goedert, but again, this game just doesn't do it for me. I think Sean Payton's going to be on his wizardry Sunday shenanigans, just getting the win here for New Orleans, and I'm staying far away from it. Mark Ingram is way too touchdown reliant in a game like this. Activating Jones too doesn't help. Taysom, it's just the quarterback situation is unknown. For me, it's going to be a hard pass. I don't like this game as much as I thought I would. But if you are playing anyone, it's going to be a little bit of an Eagles offense. I don't mind getting a piece of Dallas Goedert.
So my thing with Dallas Goedert is I just want to go to Dalton Schultz at 3% ownership. Yeah,
right.
Like, I'll find a way to get there. I just want more exposure to that game, as you're going to see that is the theme of today. I think maybe one game touches it in pace. So, yeah. Ghost, your question here.
Let me check. Let's move to the next game, and I'll grab that. I got to check my
game, Washington and Carolina. Love the Panthers D today. I think it's an excellent spot, but there is some good players in this game that we'll definitely touch on. I think Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be right around 20% owned. That's kind of just what he is when he's healthy. Do you got any love for Christian McCaffrey?
I do. That was one of the high-priced running backs when I was talking about JT. I really do like Christian McCaffrey. His route running per drop back rate is like, it is, I don't know how to describe it other than absurd. Like, every time the quarterback's dropping back, he's running a route. And he's not running a flat every time. Like, he's running routes. He's our best wide receiver. Like, it is just, I don't know what's going to happen with the whole quarterback situation today. I personally don't think that Cam Newton gets the full game. I think it's going to be more of a let's switch it up on Washington a little bit today to be able to throw them off. But whether PJ's back there or Cam Newton's back there, Christian McCaffrey's in a smash spot today. Barely anyone's rostering him with the amount of people that are just, I don't want to say punting running back, because paying $6,200 on DraftKings for AJ Dillon is not punting running back, but you know what I mean when I say that. It's AJ Dillon, it's James Conner, it's Mark Ingram, it's it's Jeff Wilson. We talked about Foreman. Like, no one's really playing the upper echelon of running backs today in terms of the pricing grid. So I have a lot of love for Christian McCaffrey. And then at that point, if you keep your same build and you're comfortable with a 5K wide receiver, let's say we go to the bottom of our running back player pool, you're comfortable with a 5K wide receiver like T. Higgins, for example. I'm just going to keep mentioning that, giving certain hints. T. Higgins at a 5K wide receiver, and then you end up paying 8.9 for Christian McCaffrey instead of 8K for someone like Tyreek Hill. Man, is it risky? Absolutely. I think Tyreek Hill is in the nuts matchup today, and I think he goes bonkers. He might be the highest scoring player on the entire slate, quarterbacks included. But if you're willing to take that risk in a large field GPP like a Millie Maker, where it's $20 and you're playing for fun, and you're like, hey, let me see if Christian McCaffrey outscores Tyreek Hill, and you're hoping that McCaffrey, T. Higgins outscores someone like a 5K running back like Mark Ingram, who is the exact same price as T. Higgins, hint, hint. And then you paying $500 more for Christian McCaffrey over Tyreek Hill. Man, that duo can legitimately outscore it, because that's how down I am on Mark Ingram, right? So when we're talking about McCaffrey and T. Higgins versus Ingram and Tyreek Hill, do I think Tyreek Hill leads the slate in scoring today? It's very possible. But at the same time,
I think McCaffrey could. I like McCaffrey.
Would it surprise you if you see the Millie Maker lineup and you're like, who is the 5% owned stud that got 40 DK? And you're like, oh, it's Christian McCaffrey.
You got him at that low of ownership?
Yeah.
I got him for 15%, just because like people, like the field loves Christian McCaffrey, and they probably should. And he had incredible numbers with Cam Newton. Cam Newton loves the check down, and that's one of the only accurate passes he can actually make.
It's so low.
McCaffrey's scoring on that little that out route he runs in the backfield.
Wheel route.
Yep. I don't know. I like the out route. He's going to go up.
Yeah. It's just, man, it's really enticing to play Christian McCaffrey today. I know a lot of people are probably thinking about Cam Newton. The one position that I refuse to punt is quarterback, because with Mahomes and Dak throwing for a combined 800 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns today, yeah, I'm going to be out on Cam Newton. And I get it that it allows you to be able to get all of those players in that game by playing a Cam Newton. Cam Newton is 5,100. Mahomes is 7,600. CeeDee Lamb is 7,600. T. Higgins is 5,400. Again, hint, hint. Like, it's just, we're getting value at the wrong spots if you're going with Cam Newton, in my opinion, in this game. I do love Christian McCaffrey a ton. And I like the McCaffrey Panthers D stack, man. Like, the Panthers D is in another good spot. Heineke's going to be able to try and make plays here. That's really my only exposure from this one. You could play Scary Terry, but again, with the addition of Gilmore to the secondary, it's going to be a hard pass for me. Way too many good wide receivers in good spots today to be able to play him. Outside of that, we'll talk about CS boy Bates. I want to talk about Bates, punt tight end.
I like Antonio Gibson. off of another guy to get up.
Okay.
If you're paying up for a great defense and
Okay.
using Ingram, I think Antonio Gibson is in a really good spot here. 1% ownership at 5,900. I think we're going to start. He ran a little bit more routes last week. I think that is something that should go up, and maybe we'll see him and McKissick on the field at the same time. Just because I don't see this offense going 100% in on John Bates, who is certainly in play at 2,500. But if you're using Bates, I said it in Discord yesterday, he needs to be the only piece of fat in your lineup.
Right.
So if you have,
it better be loaded. It has to be loaded.
It should be absolutely loaded. I saw someone yesterday with John Bates and Zay Jones in their lineup. We'll talk about Zay Jones in a bit. But it's like, if you're using John Bates, that's it. Like, everybody else needs to be studs. So I'm certainly okay with John Bates. I think expect, 8 to 9 points, and that's kind of what you're doing when you're going down to 2.5K. But if the rest of your lineup does have a guy like McCaffrey going on the other side of Bates, and you get KC Dallas or Cincinnati Las Vegas or whatever game that you like, maybe it's Green Bay Minnesota, that would be what I would do with John Bates here. I certainly think he's in play, but other than that, those are the only three guys from this game that I like. I will not be touching Cam Newton either. I'd certainly like, the ownership went down a ton. He was going to be the chalk quarterback this week until they mentioned that PJ Walker is going to play as well. But I think Gibson is a sneaky pivot off of Mark Ingram. Maybe if you just decrease your defense a little bit, but certainly not a play in cash. But yeah, McCaffrey is one of my favorite plays this week, and John Bates leaves much to be desired. But again, if it makes the rest of your lineup work, then I totally get it. So any other thoughts on this one, Ghost, or good to move on?
Nope, we're good to go. I just wanted to get to that 7K running back question.
CMC over Cook in a high field GPP. Yeah, Cook's very low owned too. It would depend on your build. I think that's a really good spot too with Dalvin Cook. Absolutely. That's a tough decision. So, what would you go, McCaffrey or Cook? I'm leaning McCaffrey, but I always love Dalvin Cook too.
I think I'll take CMC this week.
Okay. I think that's it. Yeah, it's safer, but I mean, Dalvin has just, we saw, like, the only downside of Christian McCaffrey is what's going to happen in the red zone is multiple people can vulture from him, mainly Cam. We saw Chuba get in there last week. I don't see that happening again. I think they'll start to lean on McCaffrey more each week as he came off that hamstring injury. But Cam Newton in the red zone is certainly a thing that could hurt McCaffrey's upside. Moving on to Detroit, Cleveland. Nick Chubb, Cleveland defense. Only thing that I'm interested in. I don't even like Nick Chubb that much because the weather's going to be quite bad. We're going to see Dearness Johnson still, and it's going to be a stack box from Detroit. So I don't think you're going to be able to pass the ball very much, and Baker sucks at doing that anyway. So it's kind of a pass for me. If I get up all the way up to Nick Chubb, I'm just playing Zeke Elliott instead, or finding a way up to Dalvin Cook. If I could get 1,100 more to get McCaffrey, that's what I would do, but I just can't. So
I'm only playing Browns D. That's it. I want nothing to do with this game. I feel like it's going to be like a 13-6 game. Hard pass for me on this one.
Sure.
All over Browns D.
I mean, if people are interested in Nick Chubb, I think you got to play him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You can. Just for me, I don't think that it's a game where he has to get 25 touches for them to win. That's the only thing.
Lamar is potentially out, we're seeing here, huh? Keep us updated. But yeah, that sucks for my season-long team, so I'll have to shuffle those later. But I do not have any Lamar in DFS, but I do have some Bateman, but now I'll get off.
There was someone that asked 7K running backs on FanDuel.
Yeah, FanDuel.
I do have it. Mixon 7,600. That should be like a federal crime. So if you can get up to Mixon, please do. If not, AJ Dillon 7K. If Kyler plays, I don't mind James Conner at 7.2 with the touchdown equity. Like, to get the nuts on FanDuel, you need everyone to score a touchdown, right? So that's the only reason why I like Conner over there. Darrell Williams is 6,300, way too cheap to get a piece of that KC Dallas game as well. And you need to lock in Jeff Wilson at 5K. He's the stone cold minimum on FanDuel. You just have to play him. Like, there's no reason not to play Jeff Wilson today on FanDuel, on DraftKings, in my opinion.
Yeah, but dude, what is he, 5K?
He's 5K on FanDuel.
That's, yeah.
100%. Like Derrick Henry's more expensive than him, and he's out for the year.
I think he'll outscore Henry this week.
Like, it's just, I don't know. Like the running backs that are more expensive than Jeff Wilson today are Peyton Barber, Matt Breida, Derek Gore. Like, there's absolutely zero reason to not play Jeff Wilson today on FanDuel. So that's the one thing when talking about 7K running backs. AJ Dillon is exactly 7K. If that is your last guy in and you have exactly 7K, I'd probably go AJ Dillon. If not, Mix in there at 7,600 is like $2,000 underpriced. James Conner, Darrell Williams at 6,300, but you need to have Jeff Wilson in your lineup.
All right, let's talk about Colin's lineup real quick. Colin, I love the start. Burrow, McCaffrey, Wilson. Diggs randomly just doesn't make sense to me. He's not, if you play Diggs, play Josh Allen. So get Diggs out of there because you cannot have Zay Jones and MVS in the same lineup. That is so much downside. So move Diggs to T. Higgins and maybe move Zay Jones up and find a way to get a Kansas City guy in there too. I like that you got Schultz. He's going to be low owned. Maybe you can move Diggs. I don't know. But yeah, Zay Jones and MVS, that's kind of the same thing I was saying about Bates and Zay Jones together. Like they could both get 3 points and your lineup is dead in the water if that happens. So don't have that much fat on the lineup. I'm fine with one of them. So MVS or Zay Jones. I think Zay Jones makes sense because you're using Burrow. But drop Diggs down to Jamar Chase or to T. Higgins and upgrade MVS would be my move. And then Bears D, I think, is not a good play. They're all hurt, but I don't really look into defense too much. So trust your gut there. But yeah, too much downside there. Cole here, thoughts. DraftKings, Jalen Hurts, Dylan, Dearness. Yeah, I'm not going to sign off on Dearness Johnson. Corey Davis. Yeah, I don't like this. It's kind of going all over the place. You have exposure to damn near every game on the slate. Try to tighten that build up a little bit or hit us up in Discord. We could talk about that a little bit more. Moving on to the next game. San Francisco and Jacksonville. Jeff Wilson, we already talked about it. Super cheap on both sides, but FanDuel absolutely lock him in. He will be a staple in most of my lineups today. We always want a Shanahan running back that's not split in time. And yeah, it should just be his show. I don't know how much we'll see in the passing game. We'll probably see a lot of Kyle Juszczyk. Get more of the backfield dump offs, but Jeff Wilson should be primed up for 70 rushing yards, a touchdown. San Francisco's got a very high team total, tons of touchdown equity here against Jacksonville. I don't like any run back at all for Jacksonville. I get Kittle, I get Debo. I just personally can't get there. I would love to play Debo, but I will have a little more George Kittle than anybody, I guess, in this game other than Jeff Wilson, but that's kind of where I'm at. Dan Arnold's fine at 4,100. He's certainly going to get 8 to 10 targets as they're chasing. That just seems to be what they do every single week. But Jeff Wilson for me is kind of where my interest lies, and that's a very chalky play, but it's just that's the price, and I'm taking it. Too much value there.
Next game. Right
on. Green Bay and Minnesota. We had total right around like 48 points, I believe. So decent game, a decent sneaky game to stack. I know someone asked that question earlier.
It is.
The issue I have with stacking the Packers is just the pace that they play at is so damn slow. But as the whole world plays A.J. Dillon, playing Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, we talked about MVS. He's in a really good spot. The model actually liked him a ton. He should see Bashaud Breeland a lot if Breeland suits up, and MVS can absolutely kill him for a deep ball. So I think MVS goes over his receiving yard total today and is an excellent under 4K play on FanDuel. I'd prefer him more in game stacks, though. If you're going to stack this one up, running it back with Adam Thielen, he's going to be 1% owned. Justin Jefferson's going to be sub 5% owned. Jefferson's just too expensive for me this game. And Adam Thielen is very good against man coverage and a red zone killer against the Packers historically. So I think that Thielen at 6,600 on DraftKings is an excellent run back, and Dalvin Cook would 100% be a part of that. If I'm playing Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I'm running it back with Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. If you can get Justin Jefferson, by all means, love it. I just don't know how you can afford that because I tried to make that build. But yes, this is a sneaky game, but beware that the Packers play incredibly, incredibly slow. But when they pass the ball, they are efficient as hell. And the Vikings do get Patrick Peterson back. I don't think anybody is a match for Devontae Adams in his route running, but that does hinder my projections on Devontae Adams a little bit. So again, it leads me to more Tyreek Hill, especially in cash. But Devontae Adams is always one of the safest plays on the board. And, historically, we do love picking on this Minnesota secondary.
It is a good game to stack, and I really do like it. Just when I am stacking this game, I'm making a noon only slate because I don't want to say you can't get KC and Dallas with this. You can get Gallup, you can get Schultz, you can get I don't even think you can get anyone worth mentioning on KC, but again, it's just where the ball is going on these teams, and they're all right at the top of the pricing grid. So for me, the fact that it's not an issue with the game, it's an issue with the fact that it takes me off Dallas KC when talking about salary restrictions on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Like that's the issue for me. So I'm underweight on this game, and where I did stack it, I put it as a noon only slate because I can't get the right pieces that I want from KC Dallas, and then that scares that. I'll just leave it at that. It really, really scares me to not have a large chunk of KC Dallas in my lineup tonight. So for that reason, I'm a little underweight on the main slate when it comes to this game. I think AJ Dillon has to be a lock in cash with Jeff Wilson. Those need to be your two running backs. That's where I'll go with this one. I am playing Tyreek Hill over Devontae Adams this week, but I do think that he has a monster game. Just again, like you were pointing out, with how slow Green Bay plays, we're going to see a lot of Dalvin Cook in this one, and it is a really good matchup for him. If you're going McCaffrey,
he kills the Packers. He and Thielen just kill the Packers all the time.
He destroys the Packers, and like their run D has been really bad over the last couple years now, and it is a really good matchup for him. Just again, with how slow they play, man. Like I really think that the Vikings just try and play slow on their end too. Why would they push the pace and try and give back the ball to Aaron Rodgers? Like nobody. No team in the league would want to do that. So I think that Minnesota kind of plays down to their pace too. And that is a recipe for disaster when you got KC and Dallas on the back burner at 3 p.m. So I'm out on the main slate just because of the fact that if you are stocking this game, like I was saying, it's Aaron Rodgers, AJ Dillon, Devontae Adams, MVS for GPPs. And then on the flip side, you want Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson, who are all priced at the top of the grid. So for me, I have very limited exposure to this one, but it is a great GPP stack, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's just my only scare though, is just the pace of that game. But again, Rodgers is
like why
if Minnesota starts scoring, we just need Minnesota to score early, push the pace.
That's the thing. Baby. Like, why would Minnesota? Like, let's say for example, they like that. You need a couple of things to line up properly, right? So like you were saying, we need Minnesota to score early and often. But again, it's in order to do that, they have to play fast. And if they're playing fast and they're really pushing the pace in this one, they're playing with fire, because if Kirk Cousins turns that ball over, or if they turn over the ball at the 50 on a 4th and 1 or something like that, which they have been doing week after week after week, you are giving the ball back to Aaron Rodgers. Like that's where I think they're going to end up playing safer. And that's what scares me from a GBP standpoint for this game.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear there, but I do think this game could certainly, like, if you look at the Millie Maker lineup today, I think this game could certainly be it. Absolutely. But the only way it happens is Minnesota scores early. I hope they receive the kickoff instead of defer if they win the toss, and then I'd feel a lot better about that lineup. But I do think you made an excellent point. Getting exposure to the noon only slate and using that game, I think it's a great way to go, and it's another great spot.
That's the way that's the way that I approached it. I went noon only slate, and then I got Rodgers with AJ Dillon and Devontae Adams, and then I ran it back with I made 3 different. I'm around a 3 max, and I stuck the same game every time. I ran Rodgers with Devontae Adams, and then one of AJ Dillon or MVS, and then I made 1 run back with Dalvin Cook, 1 with Jefferson, 1 with Thielen. I just went all it because if that game does go bonkers, I have all 3 of my 3 max in a noon only slate. That's the way that I approach this game.
All right, let's get a couple questions here. I'll just try to find it. Greatly appreciate all the support and everybody tuning in. This is awesome. Love everybody's back and forth here. So we got Dak, Foreman, CMC, Gallup, T. Higgins, Manny Sanders, Dalton Schultz, Kelsey, Punty. I like it all besides Manny Sanders. Again, the weather's going to be bad that game. I did like Manny a ton prior. What would you do there to adjust? Get Gallup. Oh, you got Gallup. Okay. What would you do? I just don't like Manny, but maybe I don't want to change that because that's the last thing I want to do. That's a pretty damn good build.
Yeah, I would just want to find a way to get off Emmanuel Sanders.
I mean, I'm fine with Brian Edwards, and you get it back and forth in the Cincy Las Vegas game. You got it back and forth with Schultz and Kelsey in that game with, Then you just have a one-off Foreman, a one-off CMC, and you get a better defense if you move Manny to Brian Edwards would be my thing, but if you trust Manny, trust your gut. That's a pretty good build, dude. So I like that a lot. Rotuso, single entry GPP. Burrow, Foreman, Jeff Wilson, Gallup, Higgins, Tyreek. I like it all besides Kmet. I'm never playing Cole Kmet, but I guess it's fine. Again, same thing as Andre's lineup up there. I'm not going to bitch you for one piece that I don't like. If you trust it personally, let's go. Yeah, this is not, the show's not about me or anything like that. Like, if that's your guy, play Kmet. Travis, Dak, Foreman, Wilson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Zay Jones, Dan Arnold, CeeDee Lamb, Panthers, D. What do you think?
I just think Jamar Chase has a brutal matchup today. Like,
he'll be fine.
I
know I like Higgins.
I am so all in on T. Higgins this week. It's not even funny. I am
same. I mean, I'm pro T. Higgins too, but I'm pro that
like
price.
Yeah.
I would find a way to get.
I don't even need him. I don't even need him to get in the box. I'm not asking for much. Just go 6 for 100. I'll be happy.
All right, here we go. Baltimore, Chicago. Lamar's out. I'm out on this whole game. You good? Play Baltimore D.
Yeah, next game. I don't mind. Not to rain on the parade. I don't mind Kmet.
I loved Bateman prior with Hollywood out, but this whole situation got pretty.
This is Huntley is literally Taysom Hill, so it's gonna be a no for me. I'm out.
He's out. Cincinnati, Las Vegas. My second favorite game on the slate. Looks like it's starting to become the public's. Joe Burrow was 4% ownership projection 2 days ago. Now he's up to like 8 to 10. So again, like, we got to find a way to get different on this slate, and I think Green Bay, Minnesota is a good way to do that. But getting different players in this game, I think, is a good way to do that, in addition to what we'll talk about shortly. But Joe Burrow, absolutely love him. Derek Carr is a good value. Joe Mixon is probably my favorite player on the slate. I think that is the place I'm planting my flag this week is Joe Mixon. He's going to be 5% owned. I think everybody plays Jamar Chase. Everybody plays T. Higgins. T. Higgins is awesome. Great value. Lock him in cash. But Joe Mixon being a part of my Burrow stack, I think with Higgins, you run it back with Brian Edwards. I think it's going to be 1 to 2% owned in an excellent spot. The volume's an issue there. But I think people putting Hunter Renfrow around 15% owned is dead money. If you take away the touchdowns on Hunter Renfrow, the guy goes for 5 for 49, 50, 60 yards, and that's it. He's an 11, 12-point guy. If he gets a touchdown, that's fine. But on DraftKings, I personally don't want to build my lineups around this guy has to get a touchdown or I'm dead, especially if I'm playing Donta Foreman. I'm certainly not going to put Renfrow in that lineup because their path to success is the same way. I need a touchdown or they're likely dead in GPPs because 12 points doesn't really help us, especially at 5.8K. So Renfrow, I have no interest in. My run backs are Brian Edwards, Zay Jones. I'll have a little bit of him. He's like my punt of the week. Him and MVS, I think, are in a good spot. Zay Jones going to see Eli Apple. So that's kind of my thing there. But so Brian Edwards. But Zay Jones just doesn't get targets. So again, for Zay Jones, it needs to be a 50-yard touchdown or he's probably not hitting value. So again, if you put Zay Jones in that lineup, look at the rest of your guys. Be like, do I have to have a touchdown for them to go off? If the answer is no, keep Zay Jones in your lineup. That's fine. But Darren Waller, absolutely love Darren Waller this week. CJ Azuma, everybody in this game is pretty much in play. I like them all, but my favorite guys are certainly Mixon, Higgins, and then Brian Edwards and Darren Waller. Don't really think I'm going to get to Josh Jacobs in DFS this week, but I think he's a good play as well, just because a lot of touchdown equity in this game. We got a total now 50.5 points. But I love it. Moving on to you.
I really like I keep going back to Azuma as a punt tight end just because if I am going to punt a position, I want somebody that is in one of the best game environments on the slate. So I do like Uzuma. You just have to hope that he snags a touchdown away from someone like Joe Mixon, etc. So definitely playing with fire there, but I don't mind, especially at 3,500 on DK. I'm not playing him on FanDuel, but on DK at 3,500, you could certainly do a lot worse. And with how much I am all in on T. Higgins, I don't have as much Jamar Chase as I would have hoped. But again, it's tough to build when you end up going Tyreek. There's not a lineup I'm making without Tyreek Hill this week. So with Tyreek Hill, Michael Gallup, and T. Higgins as my 3 wideouts, it ends up being tough to be able to get Jamar Chase in there, which is why I keep landing back on Uzuma in my Burrow builds. I want 2 guys in there. I don't even think we have to force a run back in this game. I think it's ideal to have one. But again, if your run back ends up being Zay Jones, that's where you have to think, like, are you forcing it at that point, right? So if you're sitting there and you're making your lineup today and you're saying, well, I need Zay Jones because I need a run back for Vegas, like, that's where you can make a second lineup. And then I would really try my best to get Darren Waller as your run back. If you're hoping that you're double stacking Burrow and you want this game going back and forth, we're talking about totals that'll hit 60 to 70 to keep up with KC Dallas. You need a Vegas run back, and it's not necessarily Zay Jones that's going to be able to do that. I get he opens the world to be able to do that, but I would make one lineup with him and then one lineup where you get a significant run back piece in Darren Waller, because with everybody likely punting tight end or going all the way up to Kelsey, I don't think many people roster Darren Waller as much as he's projected for right now, because we see that trend week after week with tight end. Any slate that Travis Kelsey is on, it's all the way up to Kelsey or punting all the way down to guys like Dan Arnold and Dawson Knox and all the guys that we've seen highly rostered week after week. So getting Darren Waller at that price tag is awfully enticing. If you're full on committing to this one, I really think that Darren Waller needs to be our run back guy. The blanket coverage has been really tough on him, but if he could do it against any team, it's going to be Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent spot for him. Is there anybody else you want to touch on? You like any love for Uzuma?
I do. Cheap stack there. Yeah, like that's what I was saying before, was that, like, because of the fact that I can't really play Jamar Chase with playing the other wide receivers that I'm playing, I end up keep going back to Uzuma as my double stack. That's because, like, my thought process was this, right? So if I'm playing Burrow over Mahomes and Dak, outside of the fact that he's $600 to $1,000 cheaper, like, put that aside for a second there, it's like, why would I want him over Dak or Mahomes? It's because I think he can keep up with them. So to be able to do that, we need Burrow throwing 3 touchdowns. So
he can do
that's where and he can do that today. He could throw forward today if he really wants to. It all depends how much work Mixon gets in that red zone, which I think he gets a ton. I think he could
just let Mixon catch 2 of them. Then
that works too. I love that. That would work beautifully for the both of us today. But again, like, when we're talking about double stacking Burrow, it's because I want him throwing 3 touchdowns. So if it's 1 to Mixon, 1 to Higgins, that third one has to go to somebody that is not Jamar Chase, because I don't have Jamar Chase. So my thought process was that if I'm double stacking him, like, I'm punting tight end regardless, why not get that correlation with Burrow and hope that one of those red zone touchdowns go to Uzuma? That was my thought process there. It's all because I don't have Jamar Chase, right? So I'm hoping that it's Mixon, Uzuma, and T. Higgins goes for like 33 DK today. That'd be lovely. But
for what it's worth, Las Vegas is 29th in DVOA against a tight end. So again, but that's Uzama's a guy's like, you have to have a touchdown most likely. With T. Higgins, the volume can get you to 15.
Uzuma stat line where he goes like 4 for 20 and catches 2 touchdowns.
Right.
I could see that happening.
You could do this below. Yeah, I like Uzuma. He's in my player pool. I only have 5 tight ends this week too. It is, who do I have? Waller, Uzuma, Kelsey, Schultz, and who the hell was he? Oh, Bates.
Yeah,
that's the 5 that I'm using. So
I like it.
Yeah, love this game.
I know how much you love Dan Arnold. No Dan Arnold this week.
No, I like Dan Arnold when he's 2,600. I'm not buying these stocks at the highest price. 4,100 Dan Arnold. Take away that dumbass 2-point conversion he got last week.
Bro, I don't think he ever gets points before the fourth quarter.
I know, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm like, all right, the fade's looking good.
Every week, I'm like, yes, 70% Dan Arnold in a really small tournament, whatever. I'm laughing, and then he goes 10 for 90 in the fourth quarter because whoever they're playing is up by 35, and it is iconic. Every fourth quarter, this guy gets 4 catches per drive. It's actually hilarious.
All right, 2 games left. One of these, all right, Do you think Arizona and Seattle could keep the pace with Dallas and KC? Because like
Man,
Russell at
scary.
6,500, Lockett is 6K, and Metcalf is under 7K.
Right. So
I wish I could revise my GPP article right now, because now that Tannehill's got the weather, I think I like this game more than Green Bay, Minnesota. This would be my second. I just don't really like any run back at all for Arizona. I mean, AJ Green, I guess, if Kyler plays, like that's probably going to be his guy, but that sounds gross. But at 4,600, dude, you could stack. You can get Russell, Lockett.
You want to do it. Want to do it.
Because the model really likes Russ this week. He had a very high grade. I think it's an excellent spot for him. And no one's playing any of these guys. It's just DK Metcalf. He's my favorite wide receiver. I just love seeing how, and he's Ole Miss, so hotty toddy. But he should not be 6,800. Tyler Lockett, I think, is a fine cash play if you get there. I just don't see why you want to avoid T. Higgins or anything like that. T. Higgins and Gallup should be absolute cash locks, and then what you do at your third spot, whether that's Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill, is likely the mindset of every cash player out there. That's probably the decision to make, but maybe you pay up at running back and you get off of Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. You play Kelsey at tight end, then, in my opinion, and pay up at running back. You could play a guy like Lockett, but yeah, the only issue here is I don't like any run back at all. I guess James Conner's fine, 6,100. He's going to be very popular. He's fine for cash. I'm not a James Conner guy. Not at that ownership, but he is a good run back. He should catch some passes. Benjamin's banged up too. So this game's definitely has some stack appeal, and no one's going to play it. So if you're a crazy person out there that likes, like, just if your whole thing is I don't play chalk, love that mindset, this would probably be the game that I would recommend. Honorable mention to Green Bay, Minnesota, but I know the pace in this game is going to be up because that's how Shane Waldron plays. So Russ at 6,500 is sexy time, but you go ahead. Seems like you got some good things brewing.
There's one quarterback on any given week that could keep up with Patrick Mahomes. When I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes the way he's been, kind of up and down this year. I mean, when Patrick Mahomes in a matchup like today, there's one quarterback that could keep up with him. It's Kyler Murray. Playing a 1% on Kyler Murray naked.
Dude, he doesn't run anymore. He's out of my play.
Who is he throwing the ball to in this game? You just said it before. No D-Hop. There's no D-Hop in this game. This is only if Kyler is 100% cleared. This is only if 100% cleared. I don't mind going reverse double stack in this one. Where you run Kyler naked and you just go Metcalf Lockett. Man, that is playing with fire. It is beyond dangerous, but the amount of upside that lineup has is massive.
What about Russ at 2%?
But yeah, I'm getting to it. But when I built that, I almost threw up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go Russ with Metcalf. And then I ran it back with one of Christian Kirk or AJ Green. As gross as it sounds. We're playing Mark Ingram in 20. Well, me and you are not, but again, I'm in a nice mood today as the holidays are approaching. That'll be nice. Where the majority of the field is playing Mark Ingram today, who's like 45 years old. Why not play AJ Green? With D-Hop out, he's going to be that safety blanket for Kyler. So I don't mind it. If you end up doing Russ for me, it's Metcalf over Lockett this week. I will take Russ with DK at, what's that aggregate rostership? 5%? 6 maybe? And then your run back would be, the only reason why I don't want to run it back with James Conner is because my main stack is 2% rostered. Why would I throw in a chalk piece in there? If I'm committing to this, I want it to be 1% rostered. I want it to be 1% rostered everywhere. So my run back's going to be one of Christian Kirk or AJ Green. Ton of upside there. And then you get you're going to 4 wide receivers in this type of scenario where you get Tyreek Hill and then one of the Cowboys wideouts.
I like the Russ side for this game a lot now. Just like my 6th Sunday morning, I got the hangover anyway. It's like, you know what? Russell was talking to me a little bit in my sleep. All sensual like. But
this game has some.
Kyler makes sense too. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. But you're crazy like that. also predicted all these Cordero Patterson 1% owned games too.
Yeah.
So I can't call you. I can call you a psycho, but I respect you as that psycho. But yeah, a lot of love for this game.
It's just this game has so much upside to it, and no one's playing it at all. Like not even a little bit.
Can you double stack Russ and still get a KC guy and a Dallas guy?
That's what I'm trying to do right now. So you want Russ with Metcalf?
I want both.
And okay, you want to double stack it? Who's
Yep.
your run back from Arizona?
Let's go with fucking James Conner for now, I guess.
Then you won't be. I don't know if you'll be able to do it.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, you probably got to single stack him. Yeah, I want Metcalf or Lockett.
I
Whatever
just
works.
think-
I just need Gallup and Kelsey in there.
You want Gallup and Kelsey?
Yeah, I don't know. I would prefer Christian Kirk as a run back, but AJ Green's fine if I have to. Otherwise, I'll just take Connor. Or I'm not going to run it back at all because it doesn't matter if no one's playing Russell. I don't need to stack.
You have more than enough. You have more than enough to do that. More than enough.
All right. I like that. Moving on.
And I
to
mean
hammer.
more than enough.
All right. Well, I'm going to put that in a 3 max right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to.
What do we even say about Dallas KC? Everybody
who's not in play? We'll go over that. Who's not? Who's someone that you're not
Tony
playing
Pollard.
in this game?
Thank you. Pollard.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Who's not in play? I'm finally getting off the Hardman bandwagon.
We have been so locked in the last couple. We've been pretty solid every week, but we have been like this in the last 4 to 5 weeks, I would say. And I love Tony Pollard today. Mark
Ingram or Tony Pollard? Highest output. What do you got?
Tony Pollard.
I'm with you. I think that there's just too much volume all around to go through this game, and Ingram, the pace of that Philly game should be slow. I love Tony Pollard. I don't love him. Let's say that. I like him because he's 0% owned, and the dude's going to get 3-4 catches if he gets in the box. Again, it's another one of those players I need him to get in the box because the volume's not going to get him to 15 points, but it could certainly happen. Michael Gallup, cash lock. Don't even think twice. CeeDee Lamb, if you could afford him in cash, great play, great GPP play because he's only going to be 10% owned because people just, I don't know, because everybody's jamming Tyreek. It seems like CeeDee Lamb's kind of falling to be a little bit forgotten, but I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel. Michael Gallup's $3,400 less. If that's your exposure to Dallas, that's great. Dalton Schultz at sub 5% ownership intrigues me a ton now that no Amari Cooper's out there. I guess literally the question is who is not in play for me. That's Noah Brown, Cedric Wilson, and whoever the 5th wide receiver is that Dallas keeps kicking around too. But other than that, I'll probably avoid the KC running back situation. I absolutely love Darrell Williams coming into the week, but with Clyde active, I still think Darrell probably gets 60% of the snaps. You're going to see a little bit of Gore too around the goal line. That situation is going to be a void for me, so I'm just going all in Mahomes. Zeke is going to be 5% owned. That is scary, but no Tyron Smith. I get that, but I love Zeke. Who leads this game, Ghost, in touchdown equity? My answer is Zeke still.
The entire game, both sides of the football?
Yeah. Who's got the best touchdown equity? If you were to bet, everybody gave you even money on whatever player, who you betting to score a touchdown in this game?
Tyreek Hill.
I'd bet Zeke. Okay. That's fair. I mean, Zeke is minus 150 to score, but I'm always pro running back when it comes to touchdown equity. I know Tyreek and Kelsey.
And rightfully so. And rightfully so.
So
it's just Dallas plays the 4th highest amount of man coverage in the league.
That's gonna be a problem.
So I'll ask this: do you play man? I don't even know if I could utter this sentence. Do you actually play man coverage on Tyreek Hill today? If you're Dallas,
I mean, if you bracket him, but then it just opens up the world for Travis Kelce. Josh Gordon's starting to get more snaps too. That'll be interesting. He's gonna get a catch today. Don't play him unless you're crazier than Ghost and playing Arizona, but. That's what worries me. Hardman's out of my player pool this week, unfortunately. And man coverage is something I always want to use Mecole Hardman in, but his snap count is dying. They're using Pringle more. They're using Demarcus Robinson more. And again, Josh Gordon is still alive on that team and starting to get more reps. So we'll see. But I just think it is the easiest stack in the world, and no one's going to do it, is Mahomes, Tyreek, and Kelsey. I'm double.
You don't think anyone's going to do it?
Not really, no. I don't see how you can afford it. You have to get different. You have to play Donta Foreman most likely or something like that. And I don't see many people doing that. I'm going to do it. Because everybody's playing Ingram, Wilson, Dillon. If you get McCaffrey, you can't do it. So I'm trying to.
Gross. Everyone's playing like Mark Ingram is actually everyone's playing Mark Ingram.
He may get 15 points. I don't think it's a bad play. I just think guys like pivoting to Pollard to get more exposure to this game makes more sense to me. Or you could play Pollard in that build too. Like just full go on this game. You could definitely do that. You could play Wilson with this double stack, Jeff Wilson that is. You could play AJ Dillon, and you could play Tony Pollard, and you could play Gallup, and that fits. And that makes me excited. So I like that a ton. Everybody is in play.
Tony Pollard's going to get so many snaps in this game. They're going to go They're going dual running back sets for a large majority of this game.
I like it. Yeah,
like absolutely. Why would they bring out a third wide receiver? Who would be the third wide receiver that they would bring out?
I don't know. Pollard. Pollard's getting 14, 15 points.
Like with Coop out, who's the next guy up? Who's the next guy that's saying, okay, you're getting some snaps today?
Probably Cedric Wilson, but I think
what does he do on offense? He runs go routes.
He plays the slot.
They have Michael Gallup doing that. Like what? Why do they need what does Ced Wilson bring to that offense?
I don't like Ced. Back off.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Like it's I like so many dual running backs. Zeke needs to pick up some blocks today because no Tyron is a serioso problem. So Zeke's got to pick up some blocks.
There's Tony.
And Pollard's gonna have a day.
There you go. There's a double stack. Double stack running back, Gallup and Pollard, and enjoy. That's probably a good afternoon only too, because no one's going to play Pollard anywhere. So that would be my move. Just to kind of hinder a little bit of the early touchdown variance and the early running back chalk variance. But I'm.
You playing any Darrell Williams?
No, I had 50% in my 150s yesterday midday, and then
CH cut.
So I had to go. I was on the computer all damn day again. Thank you, Andy Reid.
My gosh. That is no problem. Absolutely no problem. I can't wait for him to get in the box. I can't wait for him to get in the box today. I can't wait.
It's going to be
so funny.
Stack that game and double stack it if you want to. Yeah, I don't think people are going to do it. Cash quarterback.
Mahomes.
GPP.
Mahomes.
Nice. I'm going to go Mahomes. GPP. Burrow is starting to get very popular. I still like him. Still love him. But Russell Wilson now. I'm in on the Russ train. Running back.
Cash, I'm going AJ Dillon, Jeff Wilson. That duo. Yep. And GPPs, I'm going Joe Mixon. Same two cash running backs, AJ Dillon, Jeff Wilson. But my real GPP running back, the one that I have the most exposure to, is Joe Mixon.
I love Joe too. Well, you took mine, so I'll go Cash. This is going to be the same thing. Those two guys, lock them in and Cash, Jeff Wilson, and AJ Dillon. GPP, I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. Slight edge over McCaffrey just because I personally can't afford McCaffrey in too many builds. And then honorable mention from out the way down to Freeman and Tony's boy, down to Foreman. Damn it, I already showed disrespect. Sorry, Foreman. Make a name for yourself today, and I won't forget it. There. Perfect. Wide receiver.
Cash, I am going. Okay, well, both of us are going to say Michael Gallup, so I'll just say Michael Gallup. Both of us are playing Gallup. Well, we already mentioned all of our cash wide receivers, but anyways, GBPs, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Tyreek, Higgins T.
All right. Yeah, Cash, same thing. Higgins and Gallup are for sure for me. I like DK Metcalf a ton because I got to ride this Russ train, but Bryan Edwards will be my 1% owned guy today that I like a lot. Scares the hell out of me though. So for whatever that's worth. Tight end.
Kelsey, if you can, in cash, that would be ideal. But if not, I don't mind going down to Dalton Schultz. More of a GBP, but I actually don't even mind playing him in cash because that's the one spot where I'm getting different is tight end week after week. So for me, it's very similar player pool for both cash and GBP. It's going to be Kelsey, Schultz,
Waller.
Goddard's only large field, so I'm not mentioning Goddard. I like Waller at the top. I don't have much Kittle. I know you do though, so you could talk about Kittle. Who's the other tight end I have? Uzo. That's my boy this week. Uzo is my number one used tight end across all lineups. Is Uzo.
Yeah. Cash, I'm going Kelsey. GPP, I'm going Kelsey. Play Travis Kelce.
We have $7,100 Travis Kelce.
Yeah. And a $6,800 DK Metcalf. All right. 2 questions. Let's find 2 random ones. Let's see. Sean, here we go. You are very welcome, man. Thank you for the kind words again. We love everybody's support. Oh, I got to do my core. All right. Yeah. 1 second.
Don't change that lineup.
This is good, right? This is really good.
Yeah, don't change that lineup.
Maybe Bears D. Is there anything better on FanDuel? Dude, Bears D has no. I guess maybe with Huntley. Check. Maybe with Huntley, you're okay.
I'm just gonna check if we can make a 2-for-2 swap here. Give me a sec.
Weather in Buffalo sketchy. I think we are all kind of bailing there. All right. I mean, my core, I kind of said it. Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey, Gallup.
Man, Bears D is almost mint price on FanDuel. So you got to go. I don't change that lineup. It's
Hardman. Oh, Tony's playing Hardman. All right, do it. Someone's got to hit on Hardman. I've been.
Yeah, I'll give you this. I'll give you this one. What's a spread that you need? McCole Hardman versus Gallup. What's the spread that you need?
Nothing. I can't do
You're
it.
that all in on Michael Gallup?
No, like I would. Oh, you want Hardman to cover?
No. I'm just saying, like, if someone were to ask you that, how many points would you need for Hardman to cover?
7.
Okay.
7.5. I think Gallup whoops his ass, and he should. But
you even threw the Vegas edge in there at 7.5.
Yeah,
wow.
I'll give anybody the hook if they're supporting Hardman. I'll give you the hook. And Hardman's my guy too.
Wow.
Like, let's be real. I love him, but
that's why I was asking. Because that just goes to show me how invested you are in Michael Gallup.
Apparently, we're being hoarded out for chugging beers. Dude, I don't even know if I could drink a beer right now.
I don't even have any, and they all got consumed last night.
Gallup all day. I think both of us are a full fade on Renfrow. Price is just crazy. Again, take out the touchdown variance and his.
If he was 4,800,
good. Yeah, that's.
If Renfrow was 4,800, I'd be locking him in all formats. But at 5,800, I need a touchdown, and that's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Tony likes Ed Wilson. I won't get there just because I'm so high on Gallup. He's 4,200, 3,200. I guess if you need that value, Cedric Wilson or Zay Jones. Tony, I'll make a beer bet with you. I'll take Zay Jones outscoring Ced Wilson today. It's gross, but yes.
What is this? What is this? First off, thank you. Doid is a tiger. Yeah.
What?
Doid as a tiger. Nice little Austin Powers this morning.
They want your core, and then let's get out of here. I got to go change a lot of all my season-long lineups with Lamar.
The core. T. Higgins. T. Higgins, Jeff Wilson. Is this for GBP? I assume it's for GBP.
Sure. I mean, everybody knows the cash core now. Like, it's the same throughout the whole world. Just don't.
Jeff Wilson, Gallup.
Don't do anything crazy at quarterback.
Jeff Wilson, Gallup, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon.
Okay. I'm on the Mixon train as well. Just can't put him in my core because I can't afford him on that one, but he's my secondary.
I'm playing Joe Mixon over somebody. That is it's very bold, but I think that's my validity to not playing Jamar Chase.
What do you think of this one?
All in
Mahomes double stack, so I am very interested. I don't see that's what I think the downside here is Pollard and Uzama together.
I think
I don't really like double tight end this week.
Man, I know Demon's in a like Baltimore's D has been like bleeding left and right, but
I know Demon's gonna get a lot.
This
of work
is
today,
like
too.
when we talk about this in NBA, we talk about not chasing new news. Like right now, playing Demont over someone like Wilson is chasing new news, in my opinion. Like now it's just, oh, because Lamar's out, I want Chicago's going to run the ball. Like Chicago's offense still blows. That has nothing to do with Lamar Jackson. So that's the only thing. I rather if you're playing San Fran D, I rather, which is a pretty penny to pay for a DST, but if you are playing them, I would just go Wilson over Demon. You have Wilson with San Fran running back DST correlation. So I would just do that and then upgrade. Yeah, and then you could choose who you want to upgrade at that point. But if you're playing San Fran D, I would want Jeff Wilson in there, regardless.
All right. Tony's in. Zay Jones against Cedric Wilson. Got to call my mom again, tell her my degenerate bet of the day. Betting third string wide
Zay
receivers
Jones,
who get 2 targets a game. Let's see what happens. Love it.
You know what I'm going to go bet right now? Because you've been talking about MVS. I don't have him in DFS today, other than one of my three maxes at noon. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go find the book that offers MVS longest reception prop. I'm going to bet the over on that. Because the only way he hits,
blind shooting.
I'm just blind shooting from the hip. Because if we're taking his receiving yards total, he has to get that done on one catch. So I'm going to take the juicier odds. I'm going to take the juicier odds on the longest reception prop. As Tony would call it, the alternative edge. Take the same prop and just find another one that gives you better odds. So
I like it.
MVS longest reception. I'm going to go bet that now because you've been talking about MVS and I don't have a lot of him in DFS, so that's the way I'm going to hedge it.
Okay. Let's ride. All right. Thank everybody. Let's do Williams line real quick. Last one, then we'll get out of here. Mahomes, Foreman, Pollard, Hill, Thielen, Kelsey, Edwards, Bears D. I think Thielen's random in there. I don't think we need him unless we're playing A.J. Dillon in that lineup. Let's get Thielen to
T. Higgins,
sure.
Or you got Higgins with Edwards.
Yeah, let's move to Higgins and let's upgrade Foreman. You don't need Foreman and Pollard together, or upgrade Pollard. Do something like that. But yeah, really good lineup. Or move Edwards in where Thielen is and go 3 running back. I'm always team 3 running back. Just seems so much more of a higher floor, and you got more touchdown equity, in my opinion.
Or if you go Edwards, swap Edwards and Thielen, and then
I like the Foreman Pollard.
And then okay, this is a little spicy, multiple swaps here, but if you go down from Thielen to T. Higgins, and then does that allow you to get from Pollard to Joe Mixon? That's my question. That would be the key, is if you can get from Pollard to Joe Mixon. Because then your main stack is still KC Dallas, and you have a heavy stack of Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, and Edwards on the way back. That's solid.
All right. Thank you guys a ton. Great show. A lot of people in there. Oh, one more. Here we go.
No lines deep.
Screen share some looks. I don't even know how to screen share on this app. I'll try to do that next time. There's got to be a thing, right? Next time. I got to go change all my season lineups because I have Lamar Jackson everywhere. Prescott, Dillon, Wilson, Higgins, Hill, Gallup, Waller, Ingrams, Lions, Cash. Burrow, Mixon, and Higgins too much. It's too little. Keep doing it. No, that's one of my favorite sacks is 03.
You're playing Wilson and Lions D in Cash?
Me?
The lineup that was there. It had Wilson and
Jeff Wilson.
Oh, I thought it was said Wilson. Okay.
No.
We're good.
No.
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah, Lions D, it's not a great spot, but stack box, I mean, you just got to hope that I don't see how Cleveland scores 30 points if they're playing slow and just running in that weather.
They'll be lucky to score 13. Baker blows.
Or you could always just move to Joe Burrow there too and upgrade something. That may give you a lot too. But
Go
let's
Tigers.
do it. Roll Tigers. See you guys. Thanks for the support. Great show. Good luck today. Send us screenshots. MVS or Brian Edwards, last one. I just saw it sneak in.
Well, I just said I'm going to bet MVS longest receptions. Now I got I don't know. My hands are tied.
All right.
I got too much exposure to MVS now. I went from 0 to a whole ton if I'm doing that.
All right, so go MVS.
Yeah.
I like Brian Edwards. All right, see you guys.